What is up, y'all? When people follow you, they don't just consume your content, they consume context. We're going to talk about that in this show. We're also talking about our community MVPs, a few upcoming housekeeping things to take note of and put on your calendar. We're going to get into it. But before we dive in, I am Danny Marie, podcast coach, your podcast bestie, your mentor, your friend, and I talk all things podcasting. So this is Plan to Podcast, our community check-in. I'm speaking directly to my audience, which happens to be the Plan to Podcast community members on Facebook, though I share this same content out to other platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're tapped in and you are a part of our group on Facebook, Plan to Podcast. Plan to Podcast. You can also find us through the website, www.plantopodcast.com. We're going to get into all of the things, but before we do, we have to give a community MVP shout out. So this is one of our newest members of the community. We're going to spotlight her podcast. Here we go.
Hey, book lovers and readers. I am Lace Between the Lines. I am a reader, a reviewer, and a podcaster, and I love to talk about the books that I absolutely enjoy.
Between the lines, where every love story shines, dive into worlds of joy and bliss. Let these tales you can't dismiss. Legs between the lines, where books and romance intertwine. Get lost in stories that touch your heart. Legs between the lines, a brand new start. Pages turning, stories unfold. Love adventures both new and old. From sweet PQs to passion play.
So that's Lex Between the Lines. Make sure you check her out. Her link should be in the description of this live. If you are an avid book reader, you love book reviews, make sure to show your support to Lex Between the Lines. Let's give it up for her one more time.
Hey, book lovers and readers. I am Lace Between the Lines. I am a reader, a reviewer, and a podcaster, and I love to talk about the books that I absolutely enjoy.
Between the lines, where every love story shines. Dive into worlds of joy and bliss. Let these tales you can't dismiss. Legs between the lines, where books and romance intertwine. Get lost in stories that touch your heart. Legs between the lines, a brand new start. Pages turning, stories unfold. Love adventures both new and old. From sweet PQs to passion play.
All right, so that's Lex Between the Lines. Again, make sure to check her out. The link should be available in the description of this live. She's also in community with us in Plan to Podcast. Head over to Facebook or visit our website, plantopodcast.com. So, you guys, I talked about this before on my feed, but I'm not heavily into social media. Like, I post what I need to post just for the sake of keeping up with my community, but I'm not really into scrolling and getting all engrossed in social media. However, no matter where I turned my head, I kept seeing this particular couple. And you guys, the moment I share this, you're going to say, yep, I saw that too. I kept seeing this everywhere, whichever platform I was on, which, by the way, I'm only on Instagram and Facebook for the most part. But I just kept seeing this everywhere. And I was just so shocked. Like, I didn't realize that so many people are invested even in, I guess you could say, influencer couples. Probably not the magnitude of a celebrity quite yet, but they are definitely obviously highly regarded. A lot of people obviously have been engrossed in their love life and just, I guess, love the dynamic of these two individuals in their relationship. So we got to see, bits and pieces of what they would share on social media. Now, again, I can't tell you a lot about them. I always noticed Christy on my feed. She would do, to me, it was kind of weird. She'd be flipping in heels and stomping around and dancing, and I guess just very kind of, this beautiful woman would just kind of be taking her, it would be like satire, I guess. A beautiful woman who seems to be opening packages all while putting together stuff while it's not like she's matching her beauty aesthetic, but she was doing the polar opposite of what people expected her to do. I guess that was her style of content. She would wear these really outrageous dresses or really crazy bags or really crazy shoes, from what I can tell. And I always, when I watch clips, I would always notice Desmond laughing at everything that she did, but I've always noticed as well that it felt like, I don't know, just didn't feel genuine, in my opinion. It felt like, I mean, after so long, how many times is this guy going to be laughing at everything she does? She, to me, was just very obnoxious, and I guess that was the whole gag, like a beauty influencer who is obnoxious, I guess. No shade, but that was just my short, quick observation in the very few times that I've seen them come across my feed. And I would look at some of the clips and I would just be like, I don't understand how this stuff is popular. I don't understand what the draw is for people, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, I guess there was some infidelity on his part, and that he finally came out and talked about. And of course, every woman on social media has an opinion about that, and everyone is judging their relationship, and everyone's like, you know, Christy was so beautiful, and you could just never do enough for men because they're always going to cheat on you. And a lot of women or people in general would say he's gay. And I guess these are things that, notions that people have had since they were introduced to the couple. So there's been allegations of him being gay and cheating with another male, and allegations of him stepping out because he was jealous of her success. And it's just crazy to me how many people are so invested in this relationship. And I guess for me, the only thing that I want to talk about in terms of why this is important for creators and podcasters is because there is a power when people platform you. Those same people that lift you up, those same people that champion you, those same people that expect so much from you, they will be the same people to try to cancel you the moment things don't go the way they believe that the way they want them to go. They want things to go. So when you get a spotlight and you are platformed by the social media streets, it's almost like you have to be perfect at that point. You have to upkeep this idea that people have in their head about you. You have to, you just have to be on the straight and narrow, because people will criticize you, they will judge you, and they will come after you if you don't do what they want, what you want them to do. I mean, just the Christy and Desmond example, and then there's another woman, Peach McIntyre or something, who I've been seeing on social media. And I don't know why this stuff has to come across my feed, but it does. Peach McIntyre, I guess, she's being canceled because a lady who has cancer asked her for some money, asked Peach McIntyre for money, and Peach McIntyre said, no, I don't give a damn if you have cancer. And so now people want to cancel Peach. I am of the cloth that right is right, wrong is wrong. So both of the things were distasteful. The woman who asked Peach, who she doesn't know from a can of paint, just someone she sees on social media, to donate to her cause because she has cancer. So now Peach has to feel compelled to give. And now people are trying to call for Peach's cancellation. And I guess Peach has lost a ton of followers because Peach had a few choice words along with her no. She said, I don't give a damn, go ask somebody else, and all this other stuff. It's kind of funny to keep up with and try to, because I'm not into people's business. I could care less. So it's kind of funny for me even speaking about these topics. But again, what I want to emphasize is there's power in platforming. So be careful as content creators, as podcasters, anyone who's trying to build a platform, a brand on social media, when the world platforms you. Now, there's a difference between operating under God's will for your life, and I'm sure some of these creators are, but it seems like the world giveth and the world taketh away when it comes to people who try to be influencers on social media. What I would say is I am content with the little community that I have. But for those of you who aspire to do more, to do greater, you have to know that it comes at a cost. And not everybody is willing to pay that cost. Not everybody is willing to go the lengths, because there's going to be judgment, there's going to be ridicule, there's going to be critique of you. Are you equipped? Are you undergirded? Are you anchored in something, whether that's your faith, whether that is your family life, something that keeps you covered under the protection, under the veil of family, their love, under the veil of God, his faithfulness. Something has to keep you, so that when times like this come up, when people want to cancel you, and for a lot of people, to be canceled means blackballed, or your livelihood, your income, monetization, that can come at a great cost. So I just want to say that the power of platforming is real. And the same people that lift you up and build you up will be the same people to tear you down the moment things don't go the way they think that they should go. It's like you can't even be your authentic self. To me, I felt like when I watched those videos of Desmond, that Christy would like basically emasculate the man. And I see that a lot with these influencer couples. Like the men have to be wearing their women's clothes on social media, whatever it takes to get the views and the likes. And a lot of times, in my opinion, it feels like emasculating them. And maybe he got sick and tired of that. I did not go and follow up on all of the things in the threads that have been shared amongst the couple. I did see a post today. It's so wild to me. Some woman was analyzing a post that Christy made of a plate full of food. And I guess the conclusion is, because Desmond is also a chef, so I guess the conclusion is, from that plate, Christy was basically saying, I'm going to eat regardless, with or without you. So I guess that's what the people are saying. That's basically the consensus, that that's what the plate signified. It was a symbolism of Christy's going to still move on and be good, with or without Desmond, quote unquote, cooking for her, but also as a spouse as well. So that's hilarious to me. Like, people will really dissect everything that you do. And as a podcaster, are you able to go through something like that? Can you withstand the pressure, the judgment? If not, then maybe you might decide to be in your little community and just work with and speak directly to the people that are in your little community. So maybe that means having a paywall where your avid supporters will support you, and you can do all the kind of content that you want that's behind the paywall. You know, at least they care if they pay for it. You know, it's something to think about. Let me share this to the group. So that's one thing I wanted to share, is the power of platforming. But then also, let's talk about consistency and clarity. How does that tie into the conversation? Hold on. And by the way, you guys, make sure you wear your mask, get your hand sanitizer. I swear my family's been sick for the past 2 months. It's finally catching up to me. I'm like Teflon, okay? I don't normally get sick, or if I do, it is around this time of the year. But now having children in school who bring up all the germs through the house. So first it was the stomach virus. Everybody got the stomach virus. It started with my son Pierre. He would be, excuse the vulgarity, but he would be throwing up. He would be having diarrhea for a course of days. And then it got to my mother, and then it got to my baby, bypassed me. And then a few weeks later, after that all dissipated, then now we have this cold situation going on. So first Pierre, and now Princeton, and now me. So make sure you guys keep your hand sanitizer, your gloves, your mask. I guess there's a lot of stuff going around. We are not a immunization type of family. Like I'm very skeptical. But I'm thinking about getting my son immunized, especially the baby. And that's another topic for another day. But the funny thing is, also on that topic, my mother and I are going back and forth about, I'm more of, let's do healthy remedies, let's take precautions. You don't have to throw medicine at everything. My mother is more of, every little thing that happens, the kids need to go get evaluated and tested. And I'm like, girl. And every time I go and follow, and we would go at it, right? So every time I follow her suggestion, it's like everything that I said, it turns out to be exactly like I said it. But she's like, you need to stop relying on Google. You need to stop relying on ChatGPT. And I guess maybe because we've lost so many people in these recent years and there's just so much going on in the world that she's very skeptical. She'll go to the doctor's office every other week. I'm not doing that. First of all, I don't need you guys to tell me what I already know. And if the symptoms are, if he's only exhibiting one symptom and there's nothing to kind of go in tandem with that, then I'm not going to go to nobody's doctor's office, nobody's ER. There's other things that we could do. At-home remedies, over-the-counter drugs. And quite frankly, cuddles, nursing him back to health, holding him. That's what makes my baby feel the best. So tell me what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Are you guys more of the take the safety precautions and go to the doctor's office every time that you can? Or are you more like use the doctor as the last resort? There's other things that you can do before running up a bill and going and sitting in somebody's waiting room for them to tell you what you already know. Let me know. Doctor or holistic? Put that in the chat. Let me do another spotlight on my girly while I transition into this next thing. Shout out to Alexis.
Hey, book lovers and readers. I am Lex Between the Lines. I am a reader, a reviewer, and a podcaster. And I love to talk about the books that I absolutely enjoy.
Between the lines, where every love story shines. Dive into worlds of joy and bliss. Let these tales you can't dismiss. Lex between the lines, where books and romance intertwine. You're lost in stories that touch your heart. Lex between the lines, a brand new start. Pages turning, stories unfold. Love adventures both new and old. From sweetly cute to passion play.
Yeah, so shout out to Alexis. Her link should be in the description if you are into books, if you want to be a part of a book club, if you want book reviews, go check out Alexis. She's in our group Plan to Podcast over on Facebook. Again, you can also find out more about our community through our website, plantopodcast.com. So then I opened up with, power of platforming. And then let's tie that into why it's important to be consistent and what does consistency actually look like? Consistency and clarity. So again, if you're building a podcast, growing a following, or positioning yourself as a thought leader, you have to ask yourself these things sooner than later. what parts of my life belong to my audience and what parts of my life don't. What things are you willing to share with everyone versus what things will you keep close to your chest? And then walk in that. For me, I am pretty much an open book, and I really could care less about what people have to say. And I've been through so much in my life already that it would be hard to try to shake me, to try to take me off my rocker, right? To take me off my square. Literally, the only people that rub my feathers are my brother and my mother and my children. And that's it. Maybe that's the Taurus in me. Maybe that's because I've been through so much in life. Maybe it's because I had to fight off a lot of things, as an adolescent. And it's just my exterior, just the way that I am. Not everybody else is that way. A lot of people wear their heart on their sleeve. A lot of people are very attached to their emotions. And so one bad thing can make or break somebody's entire day. I've been told many a times I'm too nonchalant. And people wonder, even in relationships, whether I care that much. And that's something that I have to decide if I'm willing to work on. But for right now, I'm just not moved by a lot of things. I understand whose I am. I understand who I am. I understand that people are going to, my idea of social media is that it's a whole bunch of young people, children that are not even worth the time of day, who are just on social media, bored and talking crap. But if you guys been through, especially if you're in my age, y'all used to get clowned way harder in real life, and you had to be able to come back at recess, at school, on the bus, whatever. You have to be able to fight back with your words or with your fists. So a lot of us that I grew up with should be cut for it and built for it. But to not take people on social media too seriously when they come for you, when they talk about you in the comments. We had this conversation in my podcast meetup groups, which happens every Saturday, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been a recurring theme. Of course, I want to show up and say what is authentic to me. But I also want my community, the people that I speak to, the people that I work with, the people that I mentor, to also feel like they're being supported. So I think some of my response back to the comments within our group were, you have to just take everything with a grain of salt. You have to kind of be okay with the feedback, or you have to have boundaries that are in place, that if you're not ready for that type of feedback or critique from people, there are things like turning off your comments or, just not even looking at the comment section, things that kind of place a barrier between you and the people. But one of my podcast peers within the group, she's much older. I think she's like in her 60s. She talks a lot about spirituality, faith, religion on her podcast. And of course, those are the topics that seem to bring on the most hateful people in the comments. So you have to know, even if your podcast category talks anything about relationships, anything about race, or anything about religion, it's like the bots will come out, the people will come out. So know that as a podcaster, if you choose to go down that path and choose that category, you are already setting yourself up for critique, for people to follow you, berate you, annoy you, bully you. It comes with the territory. But yeah, there were the older women within our group that were like, wow, I wasn't expecting this kind of stuff in my comment section. And all I was talking about was, one of them was talking about the faith topic. The other one was talking about reuniting the Black family. So race. There were people not of our race who were obviously in the comments and had a lot of choice words to say. So you have to know that, expect that. To me, I consider it another notch on the belt, like you're getting somewhere, you're starting to rub people the wrong way, you're getting recognized, you're getting some recognition. So I think it's just an indicator that things are working. But consistency isn't just about content schedules. Yes, baby.
My bar on the TV, I didn't do it.
You're what on the TV?
My bar on the TV, I did my bar on the TV.
Why'd you do that?
I didn't do that.
Okay, well, I'll be in a minute. Consistency is not just about when you post, right? It's not about, whether you post Monday through Friday or not. It's also about consistent in how you show up and what your values are and what your morals are. And if you are a person of integrity or not, what are your ethics? What are the things that you live by? What's your philosophy on life? It's also about establishing those boundaries. Like I said, some people go back and forth with people in the comments. Is that going to be a hard boundary for you? Are you going to say, hey, I'm not going to debate people in the comments, because where does it get me at the end of the day? It doesn't help my platform. It makes me more exposed to other people to come and feel like they can challenge me. Or maybe you might say, like a lot of people do, I got time today, so I don't care about debating people in the comments. I'm built for it. You have to decide those things for yourself. It's about sounding like the same person on a good day or a hard one. That is so real. I have a account on Fanbase. Some of you guys don't know about Fanbase, but Fanbase is another platform that I really enjoy for the social audio component. And this is when I was pregnant. So I knew something was wrong. I didn't know I was pregnant at the time, but the way somebody got me so out of body, when I've been just cool, calm, and collected, like I used to come from the streets where I was like cussing and tussling with people. And everybody's like, I would never have guessed that about you, but it's true. Okay. It's true. So there were some women that came on Fanbase and they shook everything up. They got a lot of people, upset. And they were so disrespectful. They spewed so many hateful things, so many unpleasant comments. And one time they came to me and approached me, and somebody was like, wanting to fight me, somebody that was on social media who I don't know. And the way I came out of body, I was out of character. It showed me a few things. A few people were like, wow, Danny, I would never have expected that from you. Some people were like, I just hate that for you. I hate that you allow those people to, take you out of your character like that. You're always so sweet. And now, now they're judging me on this one bad thing. But then I was like, something is off. Something is off. So obviously my hormones were all out of whack because I found out I was pregnant. So I had to kind of like step away from that platform for a little bit. But I say all of that to say, again, consistency means you show up as your authentic self on a good day or a hard one. It doesn't matter. You still show up, and you show up as people know you to be, and you keep that up. And I know people will pluck, pry, pull, and do everything. And then the moment you spaz out, now all of a sudden you're the bad guy. That happens in life. But you have to just be willing. You have to, I'm not even a fan of Beyonce, but you have to just like Beyonce in the elevator who was so composed. You have to be that composed. Or use your platform to speak out about certain things. So don't let anybody change your narrative. And if you want to speak to a particular topic and set the boundaries straight, at least use your platform to educate and inform and correct people. You can do that. You have the permission to do that. And that's what I think your platform should be used for. There is a responsibility for what we use our platform for. And if you can't beat them in the comments, at least you can tactfully, tastefully shed light on why bullying and cyberbullying is not okay on your own platform, and take control over the situation. So that's all I wanted to share. I opened with the whole thing about Christy and Desmond and how unfortunate I thought everything was. We are going to be doing the monetization 10 ways to monetize your platform training next Monday. So I want you all to register. As a matter of fact, let me drop that in the comments right now. Some of you guys got the Substack article sent to your email. Some of you guys have yet to read that Substack article, but a lot of you guys have the question about how do I monetize my podcast? And a lot of you guys, for whatever reason, are still waiting for this big payday to come from a big sponsor, a big brand before you decide that you could start monetizing on your own. So some of you guys don't even know that you could start monetizing in other ways. And it doesn't require a big sponsor to monetize your platform. Let me see. I'm sharing the link under this video so you guys can register. And it is Monday, 5:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it would be 8 for you guys if you're on the East Coast. Use the link in the chat so you can register. Ooh, Peach McIntyre, Miss Terry. She is another influencer who makes a lot of money apparently on social media. And a lot of people, I that's all I know. I guess she's often sharing her relationship when she gets cheated on and all of that. She's just an open book. And then recently she's been going at it with Miss Tia, I guess Rick Ross's ex. And what they've been doing is going back and forth because I guess Peach started this whole thing with charging beauticians to do her own hair. So she, instead of her paying the beautician is paying Peach because of all of the recognition that that beautician will get. So people will follow the beautician as a result of Peach collaborating with that beautician. So she's been doing that lately. And I guess her and Tia, Rick Ross's ex, have been going back and forth. But Peach was the woman who also basically cussed out this woman with cancer because the woman with cancer apparently asked Peach for money. It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but the DB almost failed.
Please don't do that.
I did do that.
It almost fell. He's got the crusty nose. You guys probably can't tell. And the crusty eye boogers. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of drama. So that's Peach. But I guess people are like leaving and unfollowing her in large droves because what Peach had to say about this lady who has cancer. So again, show up, be consistent, be a good person, have morals, have ethics. Think about, even if you want to cut somebody out that day, think about the ramifications and what could happen if people decide, hey, she cussed all of us out, so let's go ahead and cancel her. Let's go ahead and cancel him. And some people would say you can't really be canceled by social media. But I mean, if people are constantly talking bad about you, and then some people have the power to blackball you in certain industries, you know, that does take effect. That does have effect on how you make money. The craziest cancellation I've seen to date has to be Kathy Griffin, who took a fake head of Donald Trump and beheaded it. And I have not seen her ever since. Donald Trump was not having it. So she got canceled and blackballed for that. And so just be mindful of those things. And that's what consistency and clarity looks like. Show up and be you. Say that this is my lane. This is the lane I'm going to walk in. I'm not going to dibble and dab into that other world. I'm not going to try to do what everybody else is doing. I'm going to do what I know to do and, play it safe, leaning into what I know. Some people they know that drama feeds the algorithms. There's another young lady, E. Kane. Every other day, apparently, she's showing up on live with another black eye. And everybody apparently in the comment section, all of her followers know that her relationship with her boyfriend is very toxic. But for whatever reason, she knows that this is how she gets paid on social media. So she shares all of this, all of their relationships, drama, the black eye. She'll be on live with a black eye. And again, I don't follow these people, but it doesn't take rocket science to understand what's going on. And, you have to say to yourself, is it worth it to me to just show all of that just for a little pay cut, a little check? Your boundary might be like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm going all in. It's nothing. Your boundary might be like, no, it's not worth it to me. So I'm just going to continue doing what I do. I don't need to do all of the other stuff on social media. I'm just going to come in, do my little regular live, and be good with that. Fun fact, and I often go back and forth with this. Before I don't know what time this was, but sometimes I still contemplate it. But I was really serious, and again, I'm an open book. I was really gung-ho about doing an OnlyFans account, doing naked yoga courses. And I had to think about that. Like, I know that that's going to help take me to another threshold in terms of money, but in terms of opportunity, how will people perceive me? Will they take me seriously in any other lane? Is it worth it to me to go that far? Sometimes I still contemplate. I'm like, honestly, I could care less, again, what people think. But I'm also now a mom, and I'm also now becoming notable in this podcasting space. And do I want to, especially when you feel like the money doesn't come quick enough, you can say, hey, it's worth it to me to still just go down this lane. And I don't care what people have to say about it because y'all wasn't paying me anyways. That's why I had to go and resort to this, this way of doing things. So, but that's just my truth. Like, I was like, I was studying yoga for a little bit. My dad ended up passing away. And so I forfeited my class, but I was ready to do naked yoga classes on OnlyFans. I'm very comfortable with my body. You should have seen some of my pictures. Some of you probably have seen them when I was when I just gave birth to my first child. So I was doing all of the spreads, the photos, and all of that stuff. And I was like, the next thing for me, because I really am comfortable with my body and I want other people to be comfortable with their body as well, I think I'm going to do a naked yoga class. And I was still smoking weed at that time. So I do still think the plant is healthy. I do still think there's nothing wrong with marijuana. But yeah, that was my plan. Smoke and naked yoga on OnlyFans. And that would draw in a completely different type of crowd. Some people, like, I still want to experience like a naked island. I know some of you guys are like, I can. And someday I might. But is it worth it to me to go down that lane and mess up what other things may be in store for me because I'm trying to take things into my own hands instead of letting God pave the way, instead of letting God take me on the journey, which is a long, treacherous journey. But part of that was my own doing and getting in my own way and making decisions for myself and not following the will of God. and what He has for me. So I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be obedient. I'm trying to walk in that. But yes, fun fact, there was a point in time where I was about to do some naked yoga, cannabis style, and we was going to have a good time on OnlyFans. But that's what I mean about you have to know what your boundaries are and what you're willing to do and what lines you're not willing to cross, and walk in that and be still and be comfortable, be content. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Make sure Monday, I think I shared it in the I did share it. Make sure you guys are tapping in, use the link and register for next week's session. We're doing 10 ways to monetize your platform. There probably will not be a replay of that. Register. I'm making sure to share this across platforms. So I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and here on Facebook. Register for monetization training happening 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next Monday. I want to say that's the 19th. All right, so register, and then a few other things that are coming out. I think this Thursday, if you follow the event links, especially if you're a member of our community on Plan to Podcast, follow the event links, because I think this week we're talking about, let me not even guess. Every Thursday we do Podcast Power Hour. So I'm teaching you this Thursday how to create a custom GPT. And then next Thursday, I'm teaching you for Podcast Power Hour how to hire your own team of virtual assistants. Let me know in the comment section what other things you guys would like for me to do a demonstration of. Yeah, I've so far taught people how to do a one-pager, how to build a website. I talked about regional managers and the fact that we're looking for brand ambassadors for an upcoming website that we're building. And by the way, I'm looking for beta testers. We're also looking for more moderators, because I'm going to be active in my group, but I'm going to also delegate because I have so many other things that we're building. And that means more travel time together, more events, and all of those things. So I'm looking for more moderators. Right now we have 3. So technically, without myself included, we need about 4 other moderators in our community Plan to Podcast. You can be a moderator if you have experience podcasting. If you understand the assignment, this is not like whatever your day is, you'll be assigned to a day. You get to pick the day out of the week, whatever your day is, Monday through Sunday. You have the ability in full reign to decide what happens in that group, with the exception of we don't allow people to post on our main feed except for on Fridays for Flood Feed Friday. But you have the ability to teach something. You have the ability to share important and relevant content to podcasters. So you can basically set the tone for the day. So likely you are a podcaster with experience. You probably have your own kind of coaching program similar to myself. And we're giving you the ability to share as long as you're teaching important information. So we're looking for 4 other people. So that way I can go and do other stuff that I need to do, which is plan for more in-person events and finish building the website and working with the beta testers for the website. So reach out to me. Again, if you go to that website, plantopodcast.com, directly at the very top of the website is an Ask Me button. If you click that, it sends me an email instantly. So don't be scared. Reach out. I'm accessible. I'm a real person. A lot of people reach out to me, and I help a lot of people. And I don't say that to be braggadocious. I don't talk about that as often, but I do help a lot of people. And I try to meet people wherever they are at, and I don't mind helping. And you just have to ask. That's kind of what I want to get to. You have to ask, be willing to say, hey, what you talked about went over my head, but I think it's something I want to talk more about. I think I need your help with something, whatever. By the way, comment plan if you need a podcast plan. So basically, it's this very simple tool. In fact, it's a Google document, something that I curated to help you flesh out your ideas, to get it all written out on paper. And then we take your answers combined with the ultimate podcast planning prompt to help you get a step-by-step roadmap of what you need to do to get started on your podcast. And then when you have that roadmap, then you can, answer a lot more questions. Okay, like the roadmap says I should do this and do things this way. Then you can come to me and you can say, hey, this is what my planner said. Can you help me with this part of it? Or this is what my planner said. I'm still unclear about this section. Or this is what my planner said. Now, what equipment should I get based on what the planner said? So comment the word plan so we can send you that link. Again, register for the event coming next Monday. We're going to do a deep dive into the 10 ways that you can monetize your platform. I will be opening up a Mike Masters membership program. So some of you guys cannot afford to do the one-on-one. But what you can afford is to pay $50, $75 a month to have full access to me, the podcast strategist, and a cohort of other people who are in the same, going in the same direction as you. And so we're all workshopping together. We're doing the question and answer thing. We're meeting on a regular basis, and we're helping you check off the things on your list. We're helping you be accountable. We're helping you show up. But most importantly, because I do still offer like free virtual meetups, so we still help each other. I don't give as much tips and information in that group. It's more of everybody is at the same level and we're all just sharing and we're just all just showing up, holding each other accountable. Maybe one week we'll watch a YouTube video. The next week we're talking about our frustrations. Like I said, we were talking about what happens when people attack you in the comments. Very soon in that virtual meetup group, which is free, we're going to be doing a project together to help us all monetize as a collective. So it's an anthology about all of our different experiences with podcasting written up in a book. So that's, you could join us in that virtual meetup group on Saturdays and, probably get what you need. But then I do know that a lot of people that do show up in the podcast meetup group are looking for more. A lot of people are saying, hey, I still feel a little out of sorts. It sounds like I'm coming into the group and I'm missing stuff. The reality is you're not missing anything because there's no direction. We're not here to teach. We're just here to all share and just show up on Saturdays. But if you're looking for something that is more supportive of your journey, that provides you more education, if you have an idea that you don't know how to bring to life, if you have questions and you feel like you're hitting a roadblock, then that's when you would sign up for the Mike Masters membership. So that's opening up. Let me see here. Nicki Minaj did cancel her Instagram account. Because I guess she lost like 2 or 3 million people after she made that crazy decision to endorse Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So she lost a lot of people. So that was funny. Shout out to Coach Terry too. She has an amazing platform. And all of the people that I work with, honestly, Coach Terry probably has the most engagement, and that's not to shade anybody. It's just like, hey, let me go see what Coach Terry is doing so I could try to emulate some of that. And she has a Hits and Hills podcast, which I think she said just the other day, she may not even want to call it a podcast anymore because it feels limiting and it feels like she's put in a box. So I understand, and I totally get that for those people that say, I don't want to call it just a podcast. There's plenty of platforms that they'll, like, I know platform Dope Living TV. It's a podcast, but it's also a live stream every day of the week. And so it's bigger than just a podcast. It's this whole conglomerate. So I understand where podcasting can feel like there's limitations with that. So shout out to Coach Terry, Hits and Hills. She is a coach, a football coach at that. She works with a lot of sports teams. She is working on a lot of cool things behind the scenes, and we're just rooting for her and her success. And I think that she does amazing. She's always boots to the ground. She's community oriented. She's at all of the sports games. She supports all of the young people. She knows people within the network. So if you need somebody for your child who's on a sports team that can talk about going into college and has to think about NIL deals and all of those things, Miss Coach Terry is a person to reach out to. And then there's somebody else. I haven't even been on Twitch, but somebody else on Twitch. What up? Stream Hub World, who I guess has found me on Twitch. All right, you guys, that is all. That is my rant for today. There will be people who will try to build you up and then take you down the same way they built you up, but you have to be good with who you are. And the only way you can be good with who you are is if you continue to walk in your own lane, and is if you have clarity, and if you show up consistently as your authentic self. And then, of course, register today for Monday. And we're looking for, like I say, moderators of our group, and then be looking out for the Mike Masters mentorship program. I can only accept but so many people, so I make sure that I give you guys all my undivided attention. You have access to me at any time to ask me the questions, and then to join us within community with our exclusive meetups where we're doing more open, more Q&A. But yeah, that was all. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. And then we're not here on Wednesdays, but then we're here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Bye.